In the 13-year history of League of Legends, there's been no shortage of colorful characters added, with many fan favorites who would make excellent choices for Riot's forthcoming fighting game. But one still stands out as probably the most obvious pick, and that's because Riven was quite literally made to play like a fighting game character. And don't take my word for it, this time it comes from Riot's very own Banana Bandit when speaking on the original concept of the champion. Riven was designed to play like a character from a fighting game, with lots of combos and fast movements, and allowing her to cancel animations fit into that gameplay pattern. She was even unintentionally able to cancel her auto-attack animations into her other abilities. Riven was only supposed to be able to cancel longer animations like Q and E, but the coding system used back then also allowed her to cancel auto-attacks. Quite ironically, this is exactly how it works in classic Street Fighter 2, which was also unintentional and birthed what we would call special canceling, a process that allows you to cancel your normal attacks animation into a special move, which has now become an absolute staple mechanic of the genre. But the similarities certainly do not stop at animation canceling. Moving into Riven's kit, we have several different clear homages to classic fighting game special moves, as well as some other abilities that I still think we could rework and move around a little bit to better fit into a fighting game. So let's break down her kit for a few minutes and do exactly that. Take for instance her Q Broken Wings. Riven lashes out in a series of strikes which can be reactivated and chained into each other up to 3 times. In fighting games, this multi-part chain style special move is called a Rekka, and I've spoken on them a little bit before on the channel, but let's take a moment to break down what a Rekka actually is. Named from Fei Long's Rekka Kin ability, this time originating in Super Street Fighter 2, Rekkas tend to be special moves that can also be reactivated into a second and third hit, and will often move your character forward with each new input. If you hit with the first part, you can then confirm it and chain it into parts 2 and 3 as a combo. I would additionally propose a separate version of this third strike's ground smash, this time acting as an overhead while the opponent is standing, as well as hitting on the ground to pop them back up for combo extensions. Up next for Riven's W is Ki Burst. In League, it's really just a pretty basic AoE damage splash and stun on impact. So for this one, I think we could use a little bit of extra spice and functionality to be converted over. My base reference here is going to be Beelzebub's Langalon Field from Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. Bub's Field is actually a barrier, but I think Riven's Ki Blast could still function in a very similar manner. The field bursts out, dealing damage to any champion within range on all sides of him, just like with Riven's Blast AoE. And to even further flesh it out as an actual fighting game tool, this barrier is also an invincible reversal move, so Bub can use it to break out of an enemy's offense, or it is a particularly great option to stop an opponent's jump in. This is a very typical tool for a balanced character to have, and I think it would fit great for Riven to have here too. Moving on to Riven's E ability brings us to Valor. Riven dashes forward a short distance and blocks incoming damage. A simple 2-in-1 gap closer doubling as a small shield, and this one once again is a pretty familiar looking move. Take most recently the grappler from DNF Duel's shoulder tackle ability, which allows him to charge forward and slam into his opponent head on for some gap closing damage. But wouldn't you know it, it also has 3 hits worth of armor on this ability as well to be able to tank a few hits on his way in. And the move is fully projectile invulnerable, making it a particularly great tool to approach characters trying to zone you out. These properties would be an excellent addition to Valor and to Riven's toolkit as a melee fighter. Finally, we end with Riven's R and ultimate ability, Blade of the Exile. Riven reforges and empowers her keepsake weapon with energy, gaining attack damage and additional range for a short duration. During this time, she also gains the ability to use Wind Slash, which is a powerful ranged ultimate attack. Yep, this kind of special is a fighting game staple too, and in the genre we would call this an install style of super move. An install is an activated powered up state that will often for a short duration boost the stats of the character like Riven's damage buff, can add different properties to their moveset akin to her increase in range, and even add moves they can only use during this powered up time frame, just like Riven's use of Wind Slash. For projectl, carry over that damage buff, increase her effective range, maybe even add some brand new normals only usable when the blade is active, and of course give Riven the ability to use Wind Slash as an additional super that acts as a high damaging projectile. So basically Riot already made the character, just tweak some things here and there, maybe add some extra tools to help fully develop her kit, and all good to go. But let me know in the comments down below if you think there is anything I missed, and if there are any other ideas you might have for Riven as a fighting game character. Thank you all so much as always for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.